ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Hearty welcome to Jnanarjane Empowering Excellence. The last day or the third day of the cooperative audit workshop. Friends, we had two enriching days of learning regarding cooperative audit. Experts enriched us in last 2 days. We all learned a lot of things about cooperative audit. Friends, today is the last day. Today it's going to be a full day, almost 6+ hours of learning. So morning sessions, we are really fortunate to have an experienced person, a departmental person, a person who has very good knowledge in these cooperative sectors, whether you call it audit, accounts, governance, whatever you say. He has an excellent experience and the abundance of knowledge in that sector. We are really fortunate to have him here. He is none other than Joint Director Cooperative Audit, Suresh Rao sir. Hearty welcome on behalf of Bangalore branch and on behalf of all the viewers and all the panelists here. Hearty welcome Suresh Rao sir. Friends, today we are having other expert. We already had in the last 2 days and always every year whenever we call, he is there for us to enlighten us in cooperative sector. CA Raveendranath sir from Sagar, he is always with us. So today also he is there and he is going to share all his knowledge. He is going to impart all his knowledge with us. He is going to extract many more information from Suresh Rao also by asking the relevant questions regarding this cooperative audit. Friends, today our Suresh Rao is going to talk initially. Later it is going to be a discussion. Both Suresh Rao and Raveendranath sir. Probably Bolma sir also may join because of some personal issues. He didn't join at. He may join at later hours. Otherwise, CA Raveendranath sir is going to take it forward till the whole in the morning session. So initially Suresh Rao is enlightening us. Later it is going to be a panel discussion, question and answer session from Suresh Rao and Raveendranath sir. Friends, participants, please post your all queries in chat box or question and answer box. Please post your queries. So you will get all the answer and the right answer from the horse mouth. So they have all the experience. Whether you can call it, you can ask questions on cooperative audit, cooperative accounts, cooperative governance, or any other issues regarding cooperatives. Please ask them. He will give you the right answer so that we can do a quality job when it comes to audit. With that note, once again, hearty welcome to each one of you. So I'll take a minute or two just to mention about other programs of our branch. Tomorrow, the 7th May, we are going to have a half-a-day seminar on charitable trusts and institutions, their income tax matters and latest amendments made in charitable trust and other institutions under section 12A and 80G. Please register for that program. Registration is open for that. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock it starts. It's going to be a 3-hour session. Dr. N. Suresh is going to impart his knowledge in that session. And on 15th of this month, Saturday, evening 6 to 8, our Central Council member, Dayanima Sharma is going to talk about new networking guidelines of ICAI and corporate form of practice. New networking guidelines. ICAI has come out with new networking guidelines. Our Central Council member is the right person to enlighten us on that new guidelines. Please register for that program. It is going to be free program. There is no fees for that. However, you are going to get 2 hours CP also. Please register. The registration portal is open for you. Please register for that. On 18th, another interesting session of 3 hours from 5 to 8. CA Sanjay Dariwal is going to enlighten us how to become a business consultant or business advisor. How to become a business consultant or business advisor. It is interestingly titled as From Ticking to Clicking Businesses. From ticking to clicking businesses is the title of that program. It is basically help you to understand how you can become a business consultant. Currently, many of us are doing compliance practice, audit and assurance practice. We need to move into other areas also. Those are all much value added areas, quite lucrative areas. So please look into that, attend that session. You can learn many things in that. Other than that, one more interesting workshop is going to come end of this month, 24th and 25th, 31st and 1st, wealth management workshop on wealth management. Please look into our bangalore.icai.org. So please visit Bangalore website, bangalore.icai.org. There are many interesting programs we are conducting. Please look into that, register yourself and learn. Is in this pandemic, we are all locked at home. So at least use this valuable time to learn many things and equip ourselves to face the new challenges. Friends, in that regard, your branch is conducting all these programs and your response also fairly good. Everyone is showing interest, appreciating our efforts. Thank you very much. Hearty welcome to each one of you once again. Hearty welcome to Suresh Rao sir, Raveendranath sir, and my colleague in the committee, Divya. With that note, let me hand over the session to Divya. Over to Divya.
Thank you so much, Chairman. A very pleasant morning to our chief guest and our today's speakers and chairman and all the participants of today's program. I take this privilege to give a brief introduction about our chief guest of today's program, Mr. B. Suresh Rao. By qualification, he is graduated from Maharaja's College, Mysore University in the year 1984. He is university topper in BA with optional subjects of criminology, psychology, sociology. He has secured 2 gold medals, having achieved first rank. He is master in social work also. He is graduated from Roshni Nilaya School of Social Work, Mangalore, specialized in medical and psychiatric social work with high distinction, recipient of National Merit Scholarship between 1984 to 86. He has served as many positions in government service, to name a few. He was joined as Cooperative Audit Department in 1997 through KPSS service. Served in District of Tumkur and Bangalore as Assistant Director. He was promoted as Deputy Director in the year 2001 and served in the districts of Kodagu, Hassan, Dharwad, Dakshina Kannada, Tumkur, Chamarajanagar and Belgaum. He was also Chief Accounts Officer of HDMC Dharwad between year 2006 and 7 under the then Commissioner Mr. Manivanan IAS. He worked as Returning Officer in the year 2013 Assembly elections at Ramadurga Assembly Segment, Belgavi District. Worked as Assistant Returning Officer in the year 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Worked as Private Secretary to Sri K. Govindraj MLC, Parliamentary Secretary to Honorable Chief Minister during the year 2015 to 18. Currently is working as Officer on Special Duty to Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of Karnataka. He was also worked as Liaison Officer in the initial period and in Ramana Maharshi Academy for Blind in Bangalore. With this very brief introduction, I welcome you for today's program, sir. Hearty welcome to you on behalf of Bangalore branch. Members, we also have with us Raveendranath sir. We have heard from him since last couple of days. He started accountant practicing at Sagar since 1989 and he is rank holder in BCom, and he has successfully completed cooperatives certification course conducted by CA Institute, and he is also founder president of Sagar Chamber of Commerce and Industries. With this brief introduction, I also welcome you for today's program, sir. I request Chairman to kindly take forward.
Yeah. Friends, we have today quite interesting. In the afternoon, we have 2 more sessions which are much more interesting maybe for you for audit point of view, and the cooperative knowledge building, that is income tax applicable to cooperative societies and GST applicable to cooperative society. In regard GST, we have CA Rajesh Kumar TR with us. He's also joined now. So hearty welcome to Rajesh. And in the last session is going to be income tax about cooperative societies. Is CA Sandeep C is going to join us. Hearty welcome to both Rajesh Kumar and Sandeep C, friends. Those are quite interesting sessions. Please continue your registration and the attendance till evening 5 o'clock. With that note, now I request our chief guest and Suresh Rao to take it forward.
Suresh Rao, sir, you have to unmute, sir.
About that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Divya, and thank you, Mr. Shetty. And also, I thank SIRC branch Bangalore for giving me this opportunity to have an interaction with you all guys who are distant colleagues all over the state working in the cooperative audit sector. And my good friend and well-wisher, Mr. Raveendranath, is also here. It is an added pleasure for me to share my thoughts with you people. Now that we are working in Karnataka state, I don't know whether the language is a barrier here or what. Whether I should continue in Kannada or English, or what is the because I have not.
Both our CS are comfortable with both language. No issues.
Fine. As long as
comfortable to you. English also fine, Kannada also.
Yeah, as long as things are communicated to you all guys, language shouldn't be a barrier. Okay, thank you about that. Yeah, friends, this was a workshop which we were looking for a long period. In fact, we wanted to have our director of cooperative audit also to be a part of this. This was a thought that was being mooted out by the branch of Belgaum, especially Mr. Bolmal. And somehow it did not come into a reality. Thanks to SIRC Bangalore, that it has become a reality, at least now. This should have been done long back. Anyway, because of some predispositions, Madam Director of Cooperative Audit could not be here. But with her permission and with her directions, I am representing the Cooperative Audit Department today. So, as we all know, the cooperative field as such is facing a lot of problems in recent times, especially in the last 1.5 to 2 years because of this pandemic, as well as since the demonetization, and also owing to other financial restructuring that the government is doing from time to time. And apart from that, the politicization of institutions, and also the lack of professionalism in institutions, and also owing to so many other amendments and other changes in the law structure also, the cooperative field is in doldrums, so to say. Many of the cooperatives are having a lot of issues. Only a handful of the cooperative societies, I'm sorry to say this, are doing very, very well in the right perspective. Having said that, the onus is also on all of us to do something in this regard, so as to help those societies to tackle all these issues, maybe on a professional front or on a financial in financial areas, and also overall the management of the whole society as such. So with these brief words, let us just pass on to the theoretical part of the cooperatives. See, as we all know, we have two regulatory authorities, two regulations in the state. One is the Cooperative Societies Act of 1959, and also the Sauharda Cooperatives Act. So apart from that, we also have, as far as urban banks are concerned, the Banking Regulation Act as applicable to the cooperatives that regulates banking with the urban cooperative banks. Then coming on to The administrative setup, we have a cooperation department which will take care of the administrative aspects of the society in its day-to-day working aspect, and also the branch of cooperation, that is the cooperative audit department, which will look into the financial aspects and the accounts aspect of the working of cooperative society. So this is where the audit aspect of the cooperatives come up. So as we all know, after the amendment of 2012, where the Cooperative Societies Act was amended in line with the 72nd Amendment of the Indian Constitution, which paved the way to get this cooperative structure, cooperatives, into the fundamental rights, bringing in certain changes to Article 19(1)(a), wherein the right to form cooperatives has been made a fundamental right. So in line with this, the different Cooperative Societies Act as well as the Central Act had to bring in certain changes in the day-to-day working aspect of the cooperatives. So earlier to 2012, as we all know, the cooperative societies were, as far as audit is concerned, audited by the Department of Cooperative Audit, and also all type of institutions, including the 44 AB institutions and banks and all those cooperative institutions. But after the 2012 amendment, the changes which we have experienced, or as far as appointment of auditors is concerned, that has been given, those powers as well as the responsibility has been given to the general body of the cooperatives. So that is where an auditor gets appointed to take up the audit of a given society. So it is the general body that has to decide both appointing the auditors, whether it is the chartered accountants who are enlisted on the panel maintained by the Director of Audit, or the departmental auditors, those who are working in a given district. So as per this, the appointments are made. That is where the role of an auditor, a chartered accountant as an auditor, or a department person as an auditor of a given society starts. As soon as the general body is convened and a decision is taken in the general body, the appointment is when it is done and communicated to the department as well as the concerned person, that is where the appointment is done. Along with the appointment, the remuneration of the work, the remuneration for the audit is also decided and finalized it has to be finalized in the general body itself. So that is where the appointment and the work of a auditor commences. Then, as per the stipulated regulations, the audit has to commence after the 1st of April, because cooperative audit, what we are doing final audit. We don't do any concurrent audit or pre-audit or test audit, nothing of that sort. In cooperative audit, what we do, it is final audit. It has to commence, the audit has to commence after the completion of the financial year. So in the provisions, every society has a time frame of 30 days for its accounts to be prepared and submitted for audit or for concerned authorities. So practically it has to start from 1st of May. Anyway, but as soon as the financial year is over, the routine checking, the routine watching and other things can start from 1st of April. And by the time the whole work is over, the society will be in a position to come out with a tentative financial statements, which will be subjected to verifications by the concerned chartered accountant or by the concerned auditor. So once the audit commences, depending on the transaction, depending on the volume of the working in the society, a time frame will be given when it comes to the department auditors. So department auditors have man days stipulated for each and every society. Similarly, the number of days utilized by the chartered accountant for completion of an audit is also shown as per the formats given in the reporting of audit. So when the audit is completed, within 30 days of the completion of audit, that is, what do we call completion? We call the date of certification of the balance sheet as the completion date. So that has to be completed only after everything is over, including the preparation of report. So we will come to certain issues when we take up the question and answer session. But now the theory part is this, that once you finalize the financial statement, the balance sheet, under the certification, you have a date. So practically that date is the date of completion of audit. Because prior to certifying the financial statement, that is assets and liabilities, the concerned chartered accountant or the auditor would have taken each and every information that is required for the completion of that, and only after ensuring that all the certificates, all the confirmations, all the certificates from the board of directors, and each and everything that is required for completion of audit has to be taken, and only after that, after ascertaining everything, the chartered accountant is supposed to certify the balance sheet. So hence that date of certification is considered as the date of completion, and after that 30 days, within 30 days of the completion of audit, the reports have to be submitted to the Director of Cooperative Audit and other authorities at the same time. At the same time, it has to be released to the society, it has to be submitted to the district head of the Cooperative Audit Department and concerned financing institutions and concerned cooperative cooperation department officials. So on and so forth. In case of dairy societies, the report has to be sent to KMF, and in case of PKPS or the VSSN, what we call down south, a copy to be sent to DCC Bank. So likewise. So after the report is released, within 30 days of time, the board of directors have to, if need be, they can come back to the chartered accountant with some queries, if at all, if there is anything that something is missed out, or something is not properly reported, or something is incorrect in the presentation of facts or figures. They can retrieve back to the concerned auditor and get the things certified, making a clear-cut case of it. So once that time frame is over, then nothing can be done with regard to the reported audit report, unless it is brought to the notice of the Director of Cooperative Audit. Because one important thing what we have to note here is, it is only the Director of Cooperative Audit who has powers under the Cooperative Societies Act 1959. No other officer whatsoever in the whole structure of the department has any powers. These are the powers that are delegated to these officials. For example, if I am working as joint director in Belgaum, so my powers are delegated to me by Director of Audit through a spoken order. Every year, the delegation of power happens in our department to assistant directors, deputy directors, and joint directors by way of a spoken order. That is one thing. Apart from this, the Act recognizes only other two officials in the Act, in the department. That is, one is the district level officer, the other one is an assistant director when it comes to assessment of audit fee. So assessment of audit fee has to be done by the assistant director, and then the list of societies, list of audited societies, list of unaudited societies, and other such things it is the duty of the deputy director of a given district or joint director of a given district. So apart from these recognitions, the act as such does not recognize any other official or does not give any other powers to any of the officers in the whole structure. Hence, it is the director of cooperative audit who is supreme in the whole setup of cooperative audit. That's why when once the 30 days time for the board after the report is released is over, so only then every communication has to be brought to the notice of the director with regard to whatever issue that is there in the given case. So then after that, the audit report has to be placed in the it is doing AGM in the year 2021. Notice that they say for the year 2021 AGM is conducted. It is not so, because September 21 falls in the financial year of 21-22. So hence it has to be mentioned as the AGM of the year 2021-22. So and so person is appointed for the financial auditing of the year 21-22. So if at all the society has any arrears in audit, so including those, the previous year audit also has to be, this person has to be appointed for that year also, but they have to clearly mention that including the year 2021-22, the person is appointed. So this is one information which as auditors we can enlighten the societies about, and when they do the appointment, because in case of any irregularity or any complication, if somebody challenges this in a court of law, then the whole thing becomes invalid, because the general body would have told that this person is appointed for so and so year, or this person is appointed in the general body conducted in so and so year. So if that becomes a mistake, then all some problems for. So that is the reason, like we may have to, as friends, philosophers, and guide to the cooperative societies, we may have to handle those this is concerned. So the appointment in a financial in a AGM, it is conducted in a particular financial year, so that AGM becomes the AGM of that financial year. So this has to be kept in mind. So when that happens, the process, it keeps on going continuously as a process. Like one audit is completed and the report is given for discussion in another AGM, and the AGM appoints another auditor for another next. So like that, this whole keeps on going. So when it comes to the responsibility of the chartered accountants, when Mr. Bolmal and Mr. Raveendranath contacted me, they were of the urban bank audit. About this, certain issues have to be highlighted in the presentation. That's what they had told me. So about which some information. Like once this amendment came into existence, the chartered accountants have come forward of cooperatives in a big way, and all the sectors were opened up for audit of audit accountants, and the system was brought in place wherein whoever who is interested to take up auditing cooperative audits have to get this empaneled in the panel, which need to be maintained by the director of audit, and they can show their preferences of working in a particular district or in number of districts, and then they can take up the audit once the appointment is done as per the rule. So when it comes to the urban banks audit, the Reserve Bank governor, by way of an order on 21st of December 2017, made certain observations when it comes to the audit of urban banks, especially about the treatment that is being done about the NPA. So when this issue was taken up, the RBI observed that there were some discrepancies in the format, reporting format of the department, and also the reporting format of the nationalized banks. So then the RBI took up and came out with a separate format for reporting. That's how we have today in urban bank reports. We have two type of reporting, and it is segregated as format 1 and format 2. So that most of the chartered accountants who have taken up the urban banks, they are reporting. This is one important thing. And then when it comes to the statutory audit reporting, there are three responsibilities. One is by the board of directors, and one is by the statutory audit auditor who takes up the statutory audit of that urban bank, and also the reporting format in which the statutory auditor comes out with his opinions. So when it comes to the opinions, see, when about the first one, if I talk, it is the responsibility of the board of directors to come out with the tentative financial statements and prepare the financial statements as per the schedules and other things, and submit it to verification by a statutory auditor. So the onus is on the board of directors as far as preparation of the financial statements is concerned. Then the responsibility of the statutory auditor is to treat each and every aspect of accounting, comparing them with the schedules, and also by taking up the previous year financial statements and with it, with all proper observation of accounting principles, and then treat the accounts and come out with a verification report, and for all the financial statements that are prepared, a note need to be given to the board of directors or the CEO with the explanation then as what is the reason for this change to be brought in, and then the changes have to be effected by the board of directors and in concern and also CEO. Only these things are completed, the financial statements have to be finalized. And when it comes to the reporting, the chartered accountant can report or the auditor can report in three ways. So the first one is giving his opinion. So giving his opinion about the working of the society. Okay. And then one, he can come out with reporting in a qualitative way. He can qualify a particular aspect of the working of the working of the bank. Or thirdly, he can come out with a adverse opinion. Means if they have not provided for example, if there are deposits and for which they have to provide interest, if the interest provided for the deposit is less, then he can come out with a disqualifying mark. Or he can advise the board prior to that to provide for exactly what is the amount required, so that the implication will be on the P&L. And then if the society doesn't do that, he can come out with a adverse comment about the aspect that he has observed. So like this, the reporting has to be taken up in it can be taken up in 3 different ways. Then it is his responsibility to observe all the acts that are there and all the circulars that are there, the latest circulars, and he has to educate the directors, educate the members of the society by way of properly presenting and properly commenting as per the format that is devised. He has to be liberal in coming out with his opinion and explanations. But I have observed in most of the cases, somehow the comments are not so much. For example, see, we have in the format we have an aspect called physical verification of cash. Okay, so physical verification of cash is a very, very important aspect in an audit. In most of the cases, what we have seen, they answer as though the questions are close-end questions. Nagadu ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆಯೇ? ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ನಗದು ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗಿದೆಯೇ? ಆಗಾಗ ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗಿದೆ. So this doesn't qualify the exact problem that the society has. In many societies wherein we have observed misappropriation in Belgaum and also in Tumkur, in Hassan when I was in Hassan, and also in Mangalore. See, the cash verification process, if it is done properly, a lot of problems could have been stopped. But since that aspect has not been done properly, the society people have learned to keep on increasing the cash on hand and do mischief in that out of that cash in hand, and then slowly it gets. This is where we have to exert a lot of caution and care, report. And especially during these times, like since I have gone to Belgaum has faced too many natural calamities. Like in 2019, it was a unprecedented floods, and then in 2020 we ended up having the pandemic, and now this year also we are undergoing this second wave of the pandemic. So what has happened? I'm aware of the information that even today many of the cooperatives have not closed their cash books. Now we have already completed 1 month and a week in the next financial, whereas the accounts have to be completed on 31st of March. But till date, many institutions have not completed have not closed their cash book. It may not be so in case of urban banks, but when it comes to credit societies and other such cooperative institutions, many have not come to not close their accounts, have kept their accounts open. So what will happen? This will lead to the dating their actions or dating back their the futuristic transactions, and because of that the cash in hand tends to increase. So this I have for the past 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, wherein many of the societies have ended up closing their cash book after 1 month, 1.5 months, 2 months. And then because of all the transaction, especially the receipts that they must have received in that period, which is to the next financial year, they have forced them back to they have dated back the collections, and they have treated it as though it is collected on the 31st or before the closure of the financial year. So hence the cash in hand has gone up. So this will lead to a lot of complications. What we have to tell the society people is, see, by bringing on the collect of next financial year, maybe 2 months or 2.5 months to previous financial year, they will not be doing any justice. They think that because we want to show some window dressing and some profiteering in the previous financial year, that's why we are doing like that. They may be thinking, but that is not so, because you cannot have 15 months for a financial year, because the other financial year also suffers likewise. Then the next financial year will be left with 2.5 months short. So then what will you do? Then again you go on to the next financial year. So it is a never-ending process. At least these are the situations wherein, like, we are facing an unprecedented pandemic. Now this is where we have to educate the institution people, saying that why don't you people accept the reality once? Why don't you curtail your urge to bring in 15 months into one financial year? Don't do that. Why don't you do some adjustments? So like this, we may have to educate. Once that course correction is done, uh, the things will fall in place from next year onwards. So this is where the auditor's role as a guide, as a philosopher, uh, that's what we say, friend, philosopher, guide, it gets highlighted. So then about the cash verification, in smaller institutions, especially Sauharda institutions and some credit institutions, um, some places I have observed that the cash book is not completed, hence cash verification is not done. That is not so. See, no way the act or the rule has specified where if the cash book is not complete, the concerned auditor need not do the cash verification. No, cash verification is a must. In fact, in such places, in such societies where the cash book is not complete, that is the place where cash verification becomes all the more important. It is imperative there, because you have to take up the physical verification of cash, and whatever the cash is given to you, you have to verify that with the details. You have to make a certification, give a copy to the society, have a copy mm, uh, to yourself, so that you can attach that to the report. And then it becomes a problem for the CEO of the society to adjust everything, because he must have stopped writing the cash book maybe about a fortnight back or a month back, 2 months back, and to bring in all the receipts and payments and adjust the cash finance, physical cash on hand on that particular day to a particular figure that is certified already by a statutory auditor. It becomes very difficult for the CEO, but it is his funeral. In fact, by doing that, the statutory auditor is doing a yeoman service to the society in bringing in some checks and balances for the CEO, not to do such 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 mistakes, not to repeat such mistakes of not writing cash book henceforth. So this is one aspect. The other aspect is, uh, is the is the cash in hand insured? So we mechanically, ವಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಲಾಗಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So it doesn't stop. It shouldn't stop there. That is where the suggestion or the advice or a remark in a negative way by the statutory auditor is very important. At least he is safe. The indemnity is he gets into a lot of indemnity when such society gets into some financial irregularity or misappropriation or some problem like that, the chartered accountant would have made his observation very, very clear. So he don't get any blame later on if the society gets in a red. So that is where we may have to be very, very alert, especially the chartered accountants who have taken up cooperatives in a big way. For example, 50 societies, 60 societies, 100 societies in a financial year. So what they do, as per my observation, they entirely depend on their juniors. So either these are the aspects that has to be properly taught to the juniors, and they will have to make a proper observation, not just sit in the office and mechanically just keep on signing the audit reports without even looking into that. All these things, these are very, 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 very small mistakes, but they may tend to get bigger by the day. So these are the aspects one has to take care. Uh, while we have interaction in the question and answer session, I'll be telling more about this with a lot of practical examples. I'm basically a practical man. I'm not so thorough in the theory part of it. So this is one thing, because I have seen a financial statement of an urban bank certified by a person where the assets are not tallying with the liabilities by a tune of about 1,73,000. So how did they do that? And for your information, that is a cooperative, that is the urban audit report which is sent to the RBI and also the income tax people. So what will happen? What will happen to the profession of the person? So because you have to exert a lot of care and caution without just blindly depending on your juniors. So now the blame game starts, and nothing can be done now, having sent all the copies to all the concerned authorities long back. So this is what it is. So I take this opportunity to request you all people to take up the format, which is as though it is in a question and answer format. They are not closed end questions or closed end points. You can exert uh, uh, your opinion and also come out with comments that are little elaborate. Let there be some more pages added to the audit report, don't worry. But this is an opportunity to educate the board as well as the members of the given cooperative institution. So then uh, about the loans also, uh, we have a lot of questions there and a lot of issues wherein the concerned statutory auditor has to observe the health of the loan, and the health of the loan as per the security that is being obtained, the viability of that security, the validity of that security, and also the quality of that loan, the repayment capacity based on the way the loanee has behaved in the previous given period. So this is where a sharp comment has to be made, so that we keep on educating the CEO as well as the board of directors. Because in our society, you people must have noticed, in most of the cooperative institutions, the board is not so enlightened or not so aware or educated with regard to the day-to-day activities and day-to-day affairs uh, of the given cooperative institution, especially in those institutions wherein this computerization, the computerized accounting has come up in a big way. Because what I am witnessing in Belgaum, wherever we are having misappropriation to the tune of crores together, uh, we are observing that a smart CEO who has a clear-cut knowledge of computed accounts, and a board which doesn't know anything about the computerization or the handling of accounts through the computer, that has become a deadly combination, in which institution we have faced a lot of irregularities to the tune of several hundred crores, including. So here, the department also has so many gaps. I agree here. We have made certain recommendations also that has to be taken up. And this is where, during the interaction period, I would seek and your experiences to share with me and to also help this cooperative accounting to go in a very foolproof and a very user friendly and very effective way. So I request you all to please share your thoughts and also your ideas so that we can bring in a lot of improvisation in the accounting aspect as well as the auditing aspect of the cooperatives. So having said that, we also are lagging in an area where uh, the softwares that are being adopted by um, different cooperative societies all over the state is not or not. So this is we have made suggestions to the head of the department to have a panel of service providers or software providers for all the cooperative societies in the state. We panel for chartered accountants better. But this the accounting aspect also has a lot of administrative aspect. Have to come out with to have this panel made level and those were agencies only who have to be treated by the corporate. We have a lot of concern, and that is an area as of now. So in this regard also, I will be looking forward to suggestions from you all people who are working in the field. Then to other aspects of the we all yeah, there are certain most likely my one of so I'll take up one by one. There is one question as per section 63 of Karnataka Societies Act, a CA who has completed 3 years of practice is still when the association, the Karnataka State Chartered Accountant Association, I took up the issue in a big rate of audit level, and there I was thinking to have 5 years as the mark, a minimum of 5 years in receipt of certificate of practice. Then the discussions happened. Then it was reduced to 3 years since the receipt of certificate of practice. That experience is required. That's what that was the taken in consultation with the body of the chartered accountants. And the question, like even the government is also feeling whether 3 years is required or what, because chartered accountants, as soon as the certificates start his practice anywhere in India in any of the fields, and there's the qualification calls for. When it comes to audit, the government that time opinion that an exposure to cooperative sector is required, an exposure to cooperative is required, and hence the 3 years hiatus is given. But even in Belgaum, when we had a workshop, and also this was the question many people asked. But now government is of the opinion that we rope in more number of professionals. Why don't we have more number of chartered accountants so that whatever the department is facing, why can't we reduce? We rope in more people. So this is where myself as well as Mr. Bolmal, we were just informally having chat. Why don't you people from the state level body of the ICAI Bangalore make a representation to the Secretary Cooperation and also the Director of Cooperation in a formal way, and just seek certain inputs from the government. So the other day also I was talking to Mr. Raveendranath, as that this webinar is being recorded. Why can't we, after the completion of the come out with a document and also record all the suggestions in a very formal way and communicate to the Secretary Cooperation and seek in this regard? I think we can all do that. That's where the success of this will also be highlighted. This is what my opinion. So this is what my answer for this. Do you feel it fair? Yeah, I can give here my personal opinion, but I can't give on behalf of the department. So my personal opinion is uh, actually 50-50 in the sense that yes, having seen thousands of reports, chartered accountants in different districts, somewhere I feel that that 3 years is required, but it is not just calendar 3 years. And statutory auditor or the CA got a good exposure to the cooperatives. I have seen many people who are working as interns with the chartered accountants who are doing fantastic work as far as cooperative audit is concerned, but who have not got cleared their CA, who have not got their certificate of practice. So if such people in the days to come, if they come out, if they clear the CA exam, and they, as soon as they obtain the certificate practice, I think they can do. So this is where we have to draw a line. I have seen many people who don't have any exposure to cooperative accounting or cooperative movement as such, though they have been working as chartered accountants for so many years. So of late, some people have picked up. Some people have got themselves enrolled, though they have 10, 12 years back certificate practice, because they have got empaneled themselves of late. There also I'm seeing some lack of a proper understanding. So this is where it is the duty of the association, the state body of the in the state, who need to just hammer out the issues and come out with a clear-cut and all-inclusive suggestion, and then send it across to the government of Karnataka. This is what I feel about it. In section 6316C states that statutory audit should be report furnished by the branch auditor, whether general body of cooperative is empowered. So this is a question comprising appointment of statutory auditors for the cooperative institution and for its branches separately. Now, as there is no any provision or there is no any direct in the statute which will say that branch can be appointed or need to be appointed separate. Chartered accountant or a accounting firm is appointed for audit of a cooperative institution. That includes all vouchers and each and every, if they have any extended all the activities of that cooperative institutions has to be in that person only. So because Cooperative Societies Act recognizes institution as per the registration number of that particular institution, whether it is a DCC bank which has about hundreds of branches, or it is an urban which has thousands, hundred branches all over the state and also outside the state. It recognizes that institution as per the registration number only. So that registration, that registered institution, if it takes up an appointment process in its AGM, particular firm or a chartered accountant for a late, then it becomes binding on that particular each and every branch and each and every extended count, all that arrangements that institution has made and account for in one particular report. Uh, Prior to the amendment, when the cooperative institutions, bigger institutions like KMF or that, they were having an option of under rule KCSR rule 441, where the society requests for 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 an officer to take up the statutory audit of the institution, like all the DCC banks and all the unions in the districts. They were requesting the government to have a cooperative audit department staff under Rule 441 to take up the audit and the whole audit of that institutions. So in those conditions, when for example an officer is deputed to KMF Bangalore, so Bangalore is an institution and it has lot of branches and lot of activities, and it has so many sections. For example, cattle feed plants in many parts of Karnataka, Dharwad, Gubbi, Tumkur district, and Hassan, elsewhere like that. So all those branches taken up for audit by a single person was difficult. So that is where that officer is again supported by a support staff, and he's given with some 2-3 assistant directors and 3-4 senior auditors like that. So he will become, in that point he will become a team leader of that audit, and all those branches taken up by will be taken up by that particular person on an order made by the director of audit or the team leader. And in that case, the branch report that is submitted by that particular person, for example, Dharwad Rayapura cattle feed plant, and some X, if that person submits an audit report, for that the team leader has to take that audit report as such. It is to just incorporate each and everything given by him into the main report of the KMF Bangalore. So likewise, the other and medicine. So there are two things. One is artificial insemination, and then they have Amruta Yojana, that is, and all that. So all those section-wise different people, but those branch report need to be incorporated into the main report as it is. So this is what the question. I think I have answered this. If at all, if clarification required, let us take up the questions. And the so as per section 63(8), chartered accountant is required to finish the audit report on or before 1st September. If a chartered accountant, after completing the audit, failed to submit the audit report before 1st September due to some genuine reasons, what will be the consequences? So after the 12th 72nd constitutional amendment, these are the changes that are brought in. Prior to that also, September 25th was the last date for cooperative institutions to take AGM, and informed to all the stakeholders in the cooperative movement to complete AGM for the 25th of September, and to facilitate that the statutory auditor, sorry, has to submit his audit report 1st of September, so that to take up the general body activity, the society would be having about 20-25 days time, so that they need to send notices prior to the AGM date, and all those formalities that are specified in the Cooperative Societies Act need to be followed. So with this motto in mind, the date was fixed for September 1st. But prior to the amendment also, the department, what we were doing, we were taking up the bigger institutions like 44 AV institutions, important institutions like and the institutions that are spread more than one district. All the institutions we were taking up for audit before the September, and this is like the milk societies and the dairy societies and consumer societies and all that. Those we were taking up a little later, like after the AGM date and all that. So throughout the year, the department has to work. So this was the reason why even after the 1st of September, the audit was not allowed, and so audit report being received. Also, that is the case with regard to the department auditors, because after having got the amendment, then there was a question raised, like if the same thing is applied to the department also, that they have to submit the audit report before the 1st of September, then what will be the activities of those department people from starting from 1st September to next 31st March. So they would be left with nothing, no other qualitative work to assign them. So this was the reason why earlier what the department had as AAP, Annual Audit Program, was split into two. And now we have two programs. One starts from 1st of April and ends on the last day of August, on 1st September. On 31st of March. For the department auditors only. So this is where there is a between a chartered accountant asking a chartered accountant to submit the audit report without fail on the before the September, and department auditors taking up the audit after also. But there is a clear cut is being followed, that the first program which starts from and ends on the 1st of September, all the institutions and the reports of all the institutions have to be submitted by the department also without fail before the 1st of September only. And only the programs related to the second program, which starts from 1st of September up to March 31st. So they have the leniency of the taking up the audit and giving the report till the 31st of March. This was the practice we observed all along. Then there was a query also from the community. Why is that discrepancy? Why are they allowed to take up audit and all that? Now, for information, since last year, we have come out with a different idea of allotting societies to chartered accountants also. What is happening, by the day the manpower in the department is dwindling, and the number of societies that are being audited by the department auditors is also coming down very, very drastically. To give an example, I was the deputy director in Belgaum in 2012 when the amendment happened, and those was department auditors were quite a handy number we had in Belgaum, and they were turning out around 3,000 cooperative institutions audit every year, just like that. And when once the chartered accountants were roped in, and also the department numbers started, the numbers have drastically started coming down. And with only 10 persons, persons who take up audit, and we end up having around 600 audit per year, around that. And number earlier, chartered accountants used to come out with 300, 400 audits, and now that has gone up to 200, 3,000 Sahara. So this is a pointer that is going to prevail in the years to come. And that's why wherever I go, I make a frantic appeal all accountants. This movement cooperative as your years, it is entirely your entirely your. You can see, you can, if he is interested, you can see the number of cooperative institutions audited by the chartered accountants, starting from 2012 to 2021, and also the number of people empaneled from 12 to 21. So that will give you a clear-cut idea as to how the chartered accountants community has taken up the audit of cooperative institutions in Karnataka state, and how best we can deliver the goods. And then also there are a lot of issues regarding audit fee and other things. Those are the things need to be sat together across the table with the government and then put across properly, and so that gain, because we are seeing a clear shift since 2010 in the governance of each and every department, wherein more and more public are being roped into the administration. Private public participation is taken up in a big way. So that can be taken up as an advantage for you people also, which has to be a symbol process for future benefit opportunities as the auditor contents. So here I request you all to take up this act and this work a little more seriously, attention to smaller details, and take up the reporting aspect in a positive way, so that it will help each and every member of the institution, as well as helping the movement as a whole. Then there is one, whether a CA can redraw the profit and loss account and balance sheet when the board of management of the society have made adjustments as a content. So while this topic, and see, that's what, like, as per the principles of accounting, if a statutory auditor has treated each and every accounting aspect of that society thoroughly, and then when he has come out with a P&L in a very confident way, it has to be like that itself. So then he doesn't have to oblige any alterations that are suggested by the CEO or the board, because if he feels that the decisions being made by the board or not according to the aspects, accounting principles, then he has a if at all there is any issue that arises or complication, then the notice of the a letter and a mark to the director of audit, or problematic, he can write to the director of cooperative audit and a copy mark to the district. Because why I'm stressing marking is I'm seeing some laxity on the part of the many accountants. Correspondence is concerned. Like as Joint Director of Belgaum, I have enlisted for audit almost from all the districts. Like I have Shimoga people auditing in my district, Udupi, I have Uttar Kannada, I have Bagalkot, Bijapur, Bangalore, many in Bangalore. So what is happening, because somebody is sitting in Bangalore, he or she will do correspondence with the director of audit directly about a society that belongs to Belgaum. No copy mark to the officer sitting in Belgaum. And one fine day, the secretary corporation or the property audit. All phone. What is happening is the issue, and I will not be aware of that. See, decentralized administration in bureaucracy means, as far as governance has to at the place itself. Like it is the issue is in the office sitting in background is not a because the concerned person has brought not shoot. So that's the reason I am stressing. Like you have liberty to write to the director. In fact, director is the powerful person into the statute. So you have to bring it to the notice of the director only. So to facilitate day-to-day administration, it becomes all the more important to inform or communicate with the officer sitting at your doorsteps. Because you are sitting in Bangalore and you are getting your society is audited by some assistant sitting in Belgaum. So that is an arrangement that you arrange for your own self, your own comfort. But common sense says that the person sitting there, the concerned district officer, has to be kept informed. So this I request you all guys to please take little cognizance of that. And so when it comes to redrawing of the ML or redrawing of the whole financial statements, the concerned statutory auditor need to oblige for redrafting. Once he is convinced that whatever he has done and is right, and that is the only way it has to be drawn. If he is confident of that, he not redraft it. He has to do a lot of why I am saying like in court, or he may seek okay, whatever you are suggesting that you need to be redrafted this, you please give me, you communicate to me, like under what circumstances and what are your reasons for seeking this redrafting. So then I don't think I will oblige for this. But if there are issues, like we have had, I have had a very this, like one of a chartered accountants who is in, has taken up audit of a DCC bank in a very far off place, in a very far off district. And there he ended up with having a lot of complications with regard to completion of audit with board and also the CEO who happens to be a government hand, all that. So now the correspondence has gone into such an extent, like the correspondence itself has become double the size of an audit report. He has corresponded with everybody, NABARD, with RBI, with income tax officials, with the director of audit or the registrar of cooperative societies, the secretary corporation, all that. So he has left anybody. In spite of that, it is still pending, like the completion is not happening. But if anybody can, this is an instance where he has learned a lot of things about cooperative auditing. So when it comes to problems, I have seen audit where the societies are experiencing some problem because unnecessarily they get into some sort does not take up so this attitude may help in the short run, may help in a smaller. If you are a professional who is looking for some excellence or who is looking for some qualitative acquaintance acquiring, this will not be the long run. So problematic institutions have to be handled. It's not that because oh, why did I do my yes, there are certain problems, but that is life. These are all professional hazards. We have to accept that. So like that. Also, the issue is that only like they are asking maybe redrafted. items related to misappropriation or misapplication, wrong application. The CA in his stand, he is very, whatever the CA is taken up a stand as an opinion, very, very clear and very, very correct. But the board is not ready to take up because it goes against their interest, against their interest or whatever you call it. So inclusion, that's what it is. When any CA faces with such a situation wherein he's forced or he's pressurized by the board of directors to the RRP and RRP or P&L, and what, you need not obey, you need not budge. Okay. Earlier to this, earlier to the amendment of 2012, cooperative had a power under 2019. That was a very, very powerful provision which the director had. The financial statement certified by the director of audit, given circumstances, becomes binding on the society, and the society, without any query, has to accept that financial statement as the statement of that particular area of that institution. There is no other go. There is no other remedy. Before the director with such a order, the director would have taken proper care and caution as laid out in the rule book. So only after all the formalities are completed, the director can come out with such an order under 29(2), saying that this financial statement has to be adopted by the society for this particular financial year. See, while we were auditing DCC Bank, let me not take the name of the district, in 2001 and 2, the DCC Bank had experienced a misappropriation of about 38 lakhs, which the board was not ready to incorporate into the financial statement. Then my colleague, he was doing the audit. He had a lot of pressure and he experienced a lot of push and pull to do away with that 38 lakhs. He did not budge and he made a case out of it, and then he sent a proposal to the head office to take up the issue under 29(2) and requested the director to look into the matter. Then the director, as for the procedure to be followed, asked for the comparative financial statement, like what the board actually wants and what the return wants. The case of the statute, he thinks that this has to be incorporated, and only after properly getting convinced, the director made an order under 29(2), asking the DCC Bank to just oblige that financial statement and adopt it and take that financial statement a particular year. So now 29(2), because the amendment was taken up with a view that government interference in the duties of the cooperative is used as possible. This was one which was taken up in 2012. So that is where even the state, Section 6, had a provision for administrative department people to correct based on the audit report as per the observations of the auditor, and communicate to the society to bring in changes as suggested by the auditor. That provision is taken away by the corporation department, and it is now the prerogative of the board of directors. That should not have happened, because what is happening in most of the cases, the culprits are from the board of directors. So now any person who is sitting in the board, if he has involved in any irregularity or any misappropriation, he will not initiate any corrective measures, because he himself may have to be punishing. So he will not do that. This is some sort of a change that is brought in with having a lot of gray area and a lot of stalemate that we are experiencing as of now. And there are instances where once the audit is getting completed, the board starts feeling that there are a lot of irregularities that are identified by the chartered accountant or the statutory auditor. And now he needs to get our signatures or our certification for the same, which means they themselves will be caught if they certify that. So during the completion of audit, what they do, they just show a lot of reluctance to certify the financial statements. So unless the financial statements are certified by the CEO and the president and minimum of 2 directors, the chartered accountant or the statute cannot complete the audit. There also we are facing a lot of stalemate. Here to this, the 29(2) provision, if the director invokes that, it used to become very, very easy. Even without the signature or without the signature of the board of directors also, if the director under 29(2), if he or she issues the directive, then it becomes easy the statutory auditor to take up that and incorporate into the audit report and read the audit. In one of the instances in Belgaum, I am facing this problem. The Sauhar, the Mahila cooperative institutions, there is a fraud involved to the tune of about 200 crores. Participated all the formalities and everything almost 1.5 years back, and we are facing the difficulty that nobody is signing the financial statement. The board, some police case is registered, and the whole of the board is in the prison now, and the secretary is absconding, and also not she is reluctant to sign the financial statement, and for which the facing a lot of difficulty. So these are the suggestions what we have given to the government, but the suggestions have to be made much more clear. Amendment has to be brought in, and all those provisions have to be brought in, because somehow I don't know, the government started feeling that audit is an interference into the day-to-day activity of the society. But practically speaking, audit has to be an essential aspect of society or any financial institution, and that is the only tool available to correct irregularities or mistakes that are experienced in the day-to-day activities of that institution. So let me cut short some of the things so that we can go to the question and answer. So there is a question here whether assistant director audit or deputy audit can return or reject the audit report on the ground that the audit report is audit is not properly carried out. I think this is a question which has come out with some bitter experience some person must be having, some CA must be having in one of the districts or with one of the officers. See, the stand in the statute is that nobody, including the director of audit, can reject any audit report. No can say that I will not take up your audit report, or I am rejecting your audit report, stating whatever reasons, stating whatever irregularities that are there in the audit report. The aspect here is like, as soon as an audit report is submitted, it has to be taken up. It has to be received by the concerned authority, and the irregularities need to be communicated to the person in writing. It is not that you entirely reject even receiving the audit report. No, that is not right. Okay. See, for example, now I have earlier told that I have a audit report of an urban bank where the financial statements, the assets and liabilities are not tallying. They have a difference of 1,73,000. So it's not that I have rejected. I have taken up the audit report, because what has happened in the field, the audit report is really gone to income tax department, it has gone to RBI, it has gone to the institution, and based on that audit report, the institution have discussed the financial statements and appropriated the profit. So all have been taken up already. So we audit department, cooperative audit department, in case of any the 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 inquiry officer or the parties that go into the inquiry or investigation will seek audit only from us. And the audit report that is given by cooperative audit department only is valid. For example, in a court of law or in an investigating agency like CBI or COD, which we are seeing of late, we are seeing them in many of the instances. So you say that I am not taking up your audit report and I am just sending the audit report back to you. That doesn't suffice. So you have to have report, you have to make a case out of it. So you have to send a notice observing all the observations, whatever shortcomings that are getting. You who are a note and have the opportunity as per the notice and the explanation is given. If the explanation is not satisfactory, then they are blacklisted also. That trend is also on the increase that we are seeing. That is only with an intention to bring some qualitative reporting or bring in some care and caution on the part of the concerned statute. That let us see. So, if a cooperative society appoints a government auditor as their statutory audit and government auditor fails to submit his audit report before 1st of September. So in this case, now what has happened, especially this year, the dates were extended to November 25th instead of September 1st. You may all be aware of all these things. So we came out with a statement, which are the reports submitted after 25th of November and how many days late. So I have received and I have made a statement and sent it across to the head of the department, making a clarification. These are which my office to the we have to accept we have to notice to pandemic as well as the stocks. Many of also in in some pockets. So you have many of the cases we have received certificates that the secretary was admitted because of the pandemic, and we have also got some revenue officials blocking the whole village for about 2 months to control the to have containment or to control the spreading of the virus. So all these things, if those reasons are valid, we are a society-wise case, and then accordingly we are taking up. In this case also, if a government auditor fails to submit his audit report before the 1st of September, or the case may be, he'll be issued with a notice, and a clarification will be sought from him, and accordingly it will be treated. There are instances where the CCA proposals are being also initiated, like disciplinary is also initiated. Then about the audit fee, whether the prescribed fee payable to the chartered accountants are same as in case of fees payable by the cooperative societies to the government auditors. Yes, it is the same. Depending on the I have a tab-wise. The audit fees is same. See, less than 25 crores working capital. 7,000. Hello. Is there for both through the treasury to a head of account of government, and it will be as a non-taxable revenue to the government, interest-free revenue to the government. What time limit for cooperative society to pay its audit fee? Ideally speaking, audit fee has to be paid to the government before the report is released. After the completion of audit. As soon as the audit is completed, as per the working capital, an assessment will be made by concerned auditor, and a challan is issued. Challan, the concerned CEO or the secretary has to pay the treasury and bring the concerned assessment and provide it to the concerned. So there is no time limit for that. As soon as the audit is completed and before the audit report is released, the society, ideally speaking, has to do the audit fee payment. Some DDs are repeatedly sending letters to the chartered accountants to attend the department meeting every month and to furnish the progress report on monthly basis, while their website is not updated with latest data. Hello? Hello? Is there any problem?
No, sir, we're able to hear you, sir.
No, audio is also clear. That's what they're saying. Yeah, sorry about that. Now, is the audio clear? Divya, madam?
Sir, it is clear, sir.
Okay. I got a call from Suraj. Okay, let me continue. So, these are sending letters asking all the chartered accountants to attend meeting. See, there is a directive given by the directorate that even the chartered accountants have to attend monthly meeting. But I have my reservations for that simply because I am sitting in Belgaum, where I may have to conduct a state level meeting if all the chartered accountants have to come. And practically speaking, it is not feasible, especially during this pandemic period and given the sheer distance. I have more than a dozen people sitting in Bangalore who have enlisted themselves as auditors for Belgaum, and they take up institutions also. Every month they cannot come and go. It is simply not viable, and it doesn't make any. That's my personal opinion. But there a time bound dialogue between the concerned district level officer and the concerned chartered accountant who takes up audit is a requirement. As I said earlier, regarding the correspondence, if the concerned district officer is in dark, it suffers, the whole work suffers. So this is where I say that a proper dialogue required between the statutory auditor and the officer, because there will be a lot of transaction that happen, submission of audit, or there may be some instructions given and all that. So I think in this regard, all the chartered accountants from need to be a one-to-one dialogue between the officer and the because there will be issues you will be facing in the field, and only the dialogue will help in bridging the reality of the field to the department officials so we can take up some remedial measures for that. But this is where I also seek the advice of you all people. How can we take up this virtually? Is there a possibility that we can take up this on a virtual way, or how to bring in more dialogue between the district level officers and the statutory auditors? It's not that it has to be followed in principle that every month the CAs have to attend in person, because most of you people may not be possible to attend. In Belgaum also, when I meeting and the director visits, hardly I get any people coming to Belgaum who are from other districts. from people rather than they themselves coming. So it is surely it's a sort of inconvenience that I agree. But having said, does not keep quiet there and stop there. We may have to think of improving how to have a constant dialogue or a constant communication with the department with which you people have enrolled yourselves. So this is one thing. So certain deputy directors and executive officers who have taken up this seriously, and I have found wanting for words. Like if I keep on meeting you people every month, I don't know what I'll be talking to you guys and what you people will be sharing with me. So somewhere a quarterly or or one or two meetings in the beginning of a financial year when you people take up audit. Also towards the end, one meeting. I think that should suffice. Or in between, depending on the problem phase, if a proper network, communication network is established between the few people, I don't think this has to be anywhere. But there are certain information that you people are supposed to give a statement which will give us a lot of data, with which we can come out with the statement. Ultimately, we are reporting to the government. The government has every government's duty is to know like what is happening in which what are the things as of now. So maybe in assembly sessions, people will be seeking information, representatives will seek question. So all that on a time-bound manner, we have to furnish the information. So for that, this a statement is required by each and everybody. Here, the heterogeneity is observed. Like there are people who 150, 160 in a year, not even in a year, from April to September. There are people who take 2 or 3 institutions in a year, so like that. But for 2 people, numerically, it is not significant. But for a department, when it we'll have to effectively send information. So for that, we require the A statement on a time-bound manner. It has to be a monthly affair from your side. If you have not commenced audit in a given month, yeah, these are the things I have for audit, and yes, commencement date it's not yet started. Like that, you can send. Some communication has to on a monthly. You have to pay. Yeah, which need to be addressed by both the panelists, and I keep it apart. Then I think we can go to the question and answer session. If I'm through.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session. We actually, I think you are running short of time for some explanations and all that. Anyway, it was wonderful, and you have answered many of our queries as such. Already you have come out with beautiful answers, and you have suggested the way outs. Practically how we can handle these situations and all that. You have given us insight. I, on behalf of Bangalore branch as well as the CA community, I thank you very much. Now I will be taking some of the questions that have arisen that has come in a chart section. Of course, one by one we will be taking. Of course, some are relevant and some are not relevant. Anyway, I'll read out the questions, and if it is possible for us to answer, then we will make out. Otherwise, we will leave that one. First thing is, can you please suggest some well-run softwares to run a credit cooperative society? Of course, it is out of our ambit. Only one thing I can tell. Any software which is made, it is tailor-made for that cooperative societies that you can adopt. What I am meaning here is, a credit cooperative society software is unique in three sense. It is just not just a software. If a software guy does the software, it is not enough. There are three aspects that must be there in that cooperative society software. One thing, the software developer must know the credit cooperative society's act and rules. He should be aware of the intricacies involved in bylaws and all those things. He should be well aware of the business principles and all that, cooperative principles and all that. So cooperative act and laws he must be knowing. And second one is he should be well aware about the accounting principles and accounting aspects, because I am seeing many of the softwares who fail in accounting aspects like adjustment entries, depreciation, or dividend calculation, or interest calculation, or something like that. They fail miserably. Even adjustment entries they cannot do, and schedules they cannot generate and all that. So that is the second thing, is they should have very good knowledge about the accounting and accounting principles that too adopted in cooperative societies, because majority of the softwares that these credit cooperative societies are running, they cannot generate Arhamatadara Patti, eligible voters list, they cannot generate in the computer, they have to generate manually, they have to write down. If that is the case, it is not good. A software cannot bar a member from signing 3 or 4, this one as guarantor, they can sign 3 or 4, whereas the bylaws restrict, a person cannot give guarantee for more than 1 loan or 2 loans. If the bylaws are not properly embedded into the software, that software will not be good. So like this, it should be tailor-made. It is not ready-made software that is somewhere running well in a bank or something like that. Don't go for those things, or don't suggest those softwares. And next question is, if the society fails to appoint any auditor in AGM, and if this aspect is known after the end of the financial year, what is the procedure the society has to follow? This is the question from CA SK Sridhar ji. Sir, Suresh Rao, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you please
I'll answer that.
Yeah,
I'll answer that. Thank you, Mr. Sri. Actually, the provisions are like this. The society has to take up the appointment process in the AGM, and within 7 days of the completion of the AGM, the appointment information need to be furnished to the concerned district office without any delay. And there is a procedure like the Udruta Bhaga. It is called in Kannada Udruta Bhaga.
extract.
Resolution book, extract of a resolution book pertaining to the appointment, and a covering letter. We have noticed in many of the instances where only the secretary, the president has not signed, and only the covering letter is there, the is not there. Instance where this sort of a discrepancy has led to a problem where the secretary has got the society done by one person and the president has got the audit done by another person. So the president even appoint another statutory auditor and the secretary has his own statutory auditor. So now the problem comes, like, which is what? So reason the concerned statutory auditor, before taking up the audit, sincere request to you all people, please see the resolution. In spite of you receiving the communication, receiving the extract copy, everything, please, before looking into the resolution book and confirming that your name is there for that particular year of audit, please don't commence the audit. Entrustment starts authenticity to take up audit, your power to take up the audit start. Resolution book, and that too resolution book is the regular resolution book, because I have seen 3-4 resolution book of the society. So they have changed the resolution book itself to cater to their own interests. So please ensure this. And then when the society fails to communicate to the concerned district office, we send a notice to that society and see have they appointed or have they conducted the AGM or not, and even after appointed, because it is a responsibility as well as a power is given to the AGM. If that AGM is not conducted properly by the board of directors and the CEO, they become punishable under 109. It becomes a punishable fine by calculating. So noting all these things, we send a notice to the concerned society and retort back. So after that, we confirm that they have not made an appointment in the AGM, then it becomes the prerogative of the director to send audit staff to take up the audit. The audit, the financial year is over. So that is where, of late, we are having a shortage of manpower. This year, we have taken up that all the societies which have failed to appoint auditors are being allotted to the chartered accountants across the state. Like it's been initiated first in Belgaum. We sent a proposal in December, and then the appointments were made towards the end of January. I have succeeded in getting about 200, 220 societies audit before the 1st of March. I have the reports also. So this this is a new way which is going to happen in the coming years, and I have suggested the director to allot all the societies that are there in additional list around May. So around May itself, if the list is allotted to chartered accountants, they can take up a lot of, so that they can take up the audit before the 31st of March. So this is the answer for that.
Thank you. Sir, one more question from Mohan Kumar A. That's what are the current guidelines on conducting the AGM virtually? Any changes in the timelines of conducting the AGM? That means what he intended is because of COVID, is there any extension for audit and conduction of AGM in this year also? That's what he wants to know, I think.
No, see, let us be optimistic. Previous year also we saw this and government reciprocated properly. Today I read in the newspaper that RBI has relaxed the KYC norms deadline, and it has relaxed up to the 31st of December. So like that, the government will also take up remedial measures, but it is too early to say, because we have only had 15 days of lockdown, so to say, a serious lockdown up to the 12th of May. So that's why, if the lockdown tends to increase, we may get a government order. We may extension in the required thing, but it is too early to say.
Yes, sir. Then one more question from SS Patil I have received. At present, there is no limit for any chartered accountant to accept the audits of cooperative societies. Number of audits, what he means. Do you feel there should be a limit for accepting the audits, as in the case of Section 44 AB of Income Tax Act? What is your suggestion, sir? That's what he is asking.
This is an issue which we have thought at length in our departmental meetings also. See, what has happened, you have to just in mind, the Cooperative Societies Act basically is a society-centric act. The act is completely society-centric. So here, even as per the 72nd Amendment also, the prerogative rests the AGM and the board of directors of a given society. So when a panel is maintained by the Director of Audit and is in the website, if the Director of Audit comes out with a limitation, like saying that take up only 30 institutions or 40 institutions like that, so we are curtailing the freedom and powers of the to a particular person. So this doesn't mean that we are in support of people who are taking up more number of audit means the quality is suffering and also things are getting centralized. So all these issues we are seeing, but we have to come out with a way. For example, when Mr. Ravindra name is a pen, how are you going to communicate to the society that enough is in societies have got me and please don't appoint me? We say that. So in this regard, what I suggest is concerned statutory auditor, he himself can control on his own consent. So now giving please don't appoint me. My hands are full. If this self-regulation is taken up, I think we can reduce the number. So increase the other accountants to be able to appoint it. But I think this is an issue. Only administrative consent has to be given by the government, whereas a proposal has to come from your own people. You have to raise and have a discussion and come out with some suggestion, which government may introduce it.
Sir, in this regard, I have got my own opinion. We discussed it at length in a committee meeting formed by our Bangalore chapter only. Previous year, some 3 years back, we had a committee formed for cooperatives. There, the discussion was discussed. The thing is, we have something around 45,000 cooperative societies across Karnataka, whereas empaneled auditors are just 1,100 and odd. In that 800 and odd chartered accountants, they are involved in cooperative audit. 400, they are not taking up any audit. Only 800 chartered accountants they are auditing, and 400 plus departmental officials they are auditing. So with the manpower of 1,200 at the most, you have to audit 45,000 societies every year. That means almost for 45 to 50 societies, each one has to audit on an average. And some of the chartered accountants, they are auditing 1 or 2 societies, or at the most 5 to 10. Then once again, average becomes higher. So what we suggested to the department, let there be ceiling for the bigger societies. Suppose Raveendranath is a senior most auditor with more than 10 years of experience. Let him handle maximum 5 to 10 A-class societies, maximum 10 to 15 B-class societies, and any number of C-class societies, because C-class societies are very more in number and they can be easily handled. But the A-class societies and B-class societies, let them be capped. That's what we can suggested to the government. But what happened, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what happened that one. But on the same line, we can go ahead, I think. Anyway, as you suggested, it is a prerogative of the society as such. They will not be knowing what we have to build up a mechanism as to enlighten them that this person is full with these things and all that. The best thing is, as you suggested, it is self-regulation. If I cannot handle more than 10, I should not accept more than 10. Having aware about the repercussions, aware about the repercussions and intricacies and the seriousness involved in the audit and all that, I should restrict myself with my available manpower and my leisure for that area. I can restrict myself. That's the best thing that I would suggest, as you suggested. Yes, sir.
See, that's what
Next,
I feel it's right. So the suggestions made to the government and where it has gone, whether it has gone to the Director of Audit or it is Secretary of Audit, know, but some such mechanism need to be in fact, so that there will be a level sort of an atmosphere that is created in a cooperative audit structure. I agree this thing has to be put into practice. Uh, uh, is there any mechanism that the Chartered Accountants Association issues some sort of, a directive to all the members to take up a less number of institutions or a particular number of institutions? Just the way a mechanism of receiving an NOC from the previous so something like that can be worked out. Is it a possibility?
That we have to think of, sir. Sir, next one more question is appearing in the chat box. Sakar Darpana portal is not being updated on regular basis. We are unable to check in the recent circulars issued by the department. Say that Pawan Kumar Bhatt, he is asking, even I had a query in this one also there is query. Where do we get the circulars related to audit of cooperative societies in Karnataka? Sakar Darpana, we don't get the entire circular bunch. Even in Sahakar Sindhu, we don't have any facilities to download or any all the circulars related to audit. They are not available in Sahakar Sindhu site also. Where do we get the circulars? That's what they were asking. Can you please tell something about this?
Actually, most of the hello. Yeah, most of the circulars are there they're available in Sakara Darpana, but I will take this as a suggestion, and I will inform my director to come out so that the updation, time-bound updation is as far as circulars are concerned, and also regarding the 20-column information that need to be updated. The other day we both had it of you remembering. So here is where we need to have some in technical aspects from you people, so that we can come out with some mechanism wherein we can avoid submission of physical reports, numbers of reports maybe, and also soft copy of report submission, something like that, because as we are in a transition period wherein the soft is not yet taken up 100%, and also the hard copy portion is not yet done with it. So this is in a transition period. Maybe we can come out with and some suggestions to make the government in and bring changes. Yes.
Sir, one more question is appearing from the same Mr. Pawan Kumar. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs is maintaining view public document feature to download the audited accounts and reports of companies. But the cooperative department as of now has not come up with this feature. When this feature is will be implemented?
Yeah, see, in the days to come, I think this is going to happen. But please remember, cooperatives are considered to be the nurses for politicians. Okay, cooperative structure is a nursery from where we get all our political entities who come out and they become the lawmakers themselves. So there is a provision in Cooperative Societies Act where, in case of state level instance, the audit reports have to be placed in both the houses by the director of audit. And when it comes to the business rules of assembly, the assembly business rules specified clearly that each and every information to be submitted in both the houses in a physical way. We have to the information on paper only, in black and white. No soft copies are given there. So that is the reason why the audit reports are need to be received. That is one thing. The other thing, every district officer has to maintain the audit reports as the permanent documents. as per the act, that is Kacheti, A category documents have to be maintained up to 25 years in a given concerned office. So in Belgaum, keep all the audit reports up to 20 years in a physical form. So this is the present condition. But when it comes to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they have gone little ahead with regard to computerizing and digitalizing their data. This is where even we need to catch up as cooperative department. We need to catch up with best practices that are available elsewhere and to adopt them. And here the department is facing the shortage of some people who know technicalities, and here is where people and we can come out with some suggestions to the but
Sir, there is one more question that's recently asked. Is there not a necessity to train the departmental auditors regarding the complaints, compliances under other acts? There are instances where they have not addressed the issue in the society's audit reports. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಆಡಿಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆಡಿಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಈವನ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದಿ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೊಸೈಟೀಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಮೈಸೂರಿಂದ ಕೇಳಿರುವಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಬ್ಬ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಕೇಳಿರುವಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದು. ಅವರು he has come across a society, it has brought a notice to him. ಆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಫಾರ್ ನಾನ್ ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ಪನಿಶ್ಡ್. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪೆನಾಲ್ಟಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾನ್ ಫೈಲಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದೇನಂದ್ರೆ, ಸರ್ ನಾವು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಆಡಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ. ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ IT ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ, ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. This year notice ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, for the last 25 years that society is existing and that is making profit. But they were not advised properly. ಹೌದು.
ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, is there any mechanism in the department? Sir, is there any mechanism in the department to train and guide the auditors of the department? Ali, is there any mechanism in the department to train the auditors of the department with the latest developments happening in the other acts? ಲೈಕ್ GST, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗಳು GST ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ, ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೇರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ GST ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಬಂದಾಗ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಬಿಡೋ, ಈಗ ಯಾಕೆ ನೀನು ಹಾಕೊಳ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್, ಅದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೊಸೈಟೀಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡು, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಜಸ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. But that will not be sufficient for the department. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they cannot escape the penal provisions, sir. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ is there any mechanism to train up or inform the departmental auditors what is happening in other acts which are related to the cooperative department? For example, yesterday we had a session, day before yesterday we had a session which is though not directly related to the cooperative department. We discussed something about BUDS Act and KPID, Karnataka Public Prohibition of this one, Protection of Interest of Depositors. ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. BUDS Act, ಬ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್, ಇದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿ, is there any mechanism in the cooperative audit department so that they can be updated in other area, in the sense which are relevant for the cooperative societies? Even all labor acts, they are very much applicable to cooperative societies also. Adannu kuda as an auditor, if they can just suggest them, it would be very good for the societies. Hagagi aa ರೀತಿಗೆ ಸರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಯ್ತು.
ಹೌದು,
ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅವಾಗ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಸೂರು, where even the senior level officers they also get constantly getting. On the other hand, we have Sahakara Mahamandala, for which we all give, pass on the education fund. They also are conducting trainings. ಬಟ್ ಇವು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದಾವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇವು ಕೇವಲ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದಾವೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಹಿಯರ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇತರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ, ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಬ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಅದು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅವಶ್ಯಕ. ಈಗ ಇದೇನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ನಮ್ಗೂ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಈಗ GST ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ನೆನ್ನೆ ನಾಳೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಮೂಲಾಗ್ರವಾದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದಂಗಿಲ್ಲ GST ನಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ. ನಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್, but overall as a new entity, lot of changes that are going every day. Is one, but illi ನಾವು RICM ಗೆ ಒಂದು RIC ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ from among chartered accountants there are a lot of resource not only the provision, other thing they just institution and what the relevant information for all auditors. There is process. There has to be a mechanism wherein it is learning the different acts. Then suggestions ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ.
Sir, most probably you are being disturbed with audio problem there. Bandwidth ಏನೋ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Anyway, sir,
ಹೌದು
sir, ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು as a myself I am asking one question. Let us be very frank. In your opinion, what would be the modalities and future of this cooperative audit area in future? Already there is a remote audit and a computerized audit and work from home and all those things there. They are in the other areas. How about the cooperative field, cooperative audits and all that? What are the changes that you foresee in this cooperative audit area, cooperative societies area? And down the line, after 10 years, what would be the position of these cooperatives and cooperative audits? In your thinking, in personal thinking.
Hello. I hope my audio is clear.
It is
Yes,
some staggering is there. Please.
Audio is there. Clear, sir.
Suddenly you have come out with $1 million question. As of now, government has brought in a freeze as far as new appointments to the cooperative audit department is concerned. This is number one. So now the stalwarts, the persons who had a lot of knowledge and those people who were doing audit for so many years, over even more than 2 decades and 3 decades. All those experienced hands have retired, have got out, they have gone to the department. And now the short number of personnel that are left in the department, we have a variety of people. There are two very experienced people and a lot of new persons who have come out in the recent batch. But after that, there is no recruitment that has happened. And given the way copywriting, the parallel reading, and also the act of new recruit, the audit department as such will not be take up the activity that is now. To this also to come, it will be difficult. So this directly suggests that the cooperative audit field is entirely going to be the domain of chartered accountants. So I have kept on telling repeatedly wherever I so two people the how it is to be for ಮುಂದಿನ 10 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ನ ನೀವುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಯಾವ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಮಟ್ಟದ ಸಭೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂದ, RCS ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಸಹಕಾರ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಯ್ದಂತ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ಮತ್ತೆ ತಾವು ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಯ್ದಂತ ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿ ಮೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ವರ್ಕ್. ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಥಸಾರಥಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇದ್ರು. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ, ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ 2020 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ರೆಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ತರದ ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ನ ಒಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತ.
Yes, sir. And last but not the least, sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Sir, ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ 13ರ ನಂತರ all of a sudden chartered accountants, they were involved in cooperative audit. And yes, many of the chartered accountants, they started feeling it is a windfall. ಒಂದೇ ಸಾರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಏರಿಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಟ್ಟೆ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗೆ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದಿ ಕಾರ್ನರ್ and they started canvassing and all that. Yes. Meanwhile, departmental auditors, they started feeling as if ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವದ ಭೀತಿ, as if they are losing their area. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. ಒಂದು 4-5 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂತೂ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1-2 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇದು. ಬಟ್ ನೌ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲೈಸ್ಡ್. ಒಂದು ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಈವನ್ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಲೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್. And even departmental auditors also, they have come down. This is the reality. There is no point in blaming the chartered accountants. So we have to accept anteli. Modulu one session nalli, open session nalli over chartered accountant ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನವರು ದಾಯಾದಿಗಳ ತರ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Now that situation is not there. We know the realities. What is the windfall profit? That it has got its own intricacies and difficulties, and so many chartered accountant they have subdued. Hagagi ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ department and now I want to come just get your opinion. How we can improve? Still there is a gap between departmental auditors and chartered accountants. Many of the chartered accountants they still complain. Of course, ನನಗೆ departmental auditors ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ. Because I participated in even training programs in RICM ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ training program ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನಾನು participate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. It is not my complaint. Now, to improve the relationship between chartered accountants and departmental auditors, departmental auditors like you, we can get many information, many inputs. You can act as guru for us in cooperative audit. ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಿಮ್ಮಂತವರ ಹತ್ರ ನಾವು ತುಂಬಾ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ we get more and more knowledge. ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. Whenever I come across some intricacies or some problem or something like that, I will be approaching some of the other departmental auditors. Sir, this is the thing. How we can go about. Even Prakash Machige sir also, he helped me a lot in so many cases. Sir, ಇದೊಂದು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್, ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Sir Raveendranath, this is the thing, this is how you have to go about, this how you have to document, how you advise those things, you give the pink sheet in like this, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿ, you get these documentation for your safeguarding. These were the practical hints. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಹಂಚಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ how the coordination can be built up and it can be bettered in between chartered accountants and departmental auditors, sir.
Yeah, the first and foremost thing is a proper communication channel, which has to be two-way.
Yeah.
It has to be two-way. Number one. Number two, this is also directly related to demand and supply principle. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ 2012 ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಡೊಮೈನ್ಗೆ ನಮಗಿಂತಲೂ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬರೆದು ಹೈಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲಿ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈಡ್ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಸರ್ವೇ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ. ಅದು ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲು ಬಿದ್ದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಅಲೆಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತವೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ 1-2 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಈಗ ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಅಂದಾಗ ಇಡೀ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಒಂದಾಗಿರಬಹುದು, ಬೆಳಗಾವಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. ಬೆಳಗಾವಿನ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲಾಖೆ
ಸರ್ ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಎರಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ತಮ್ಮದು. ದಿವ್ಯಾ, ಆರ್ ಯು ದೇರ್?
Sir, I am there, sir.
ಸುರೇಶ್ ರಾವ್ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನೋ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಸುರೇಶ್ ರಾವ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ನನ್ಗೆ ಆಡಿಯೋನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ವಿಡಿಯೋನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Maybe he is trying to reconnect. ನೋಡೋಣ.
Of course, we are coming to the fag end.
Yeah.
One or two questions. I can just conclude. Better not to make him conclude. If he comes back, we will
Okay, sir.
this.
The last in one or two questions to conclude, madam.
Okay. So if he comes back, you can take up the session and you can just vote of thanks and propose ಮಾಡಬಹುದು.
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. Yes, sir, yes, sir.
ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಇದಾರಾ?
Shetty sir ಇಲ್ಲ. I will conclude it, sir.
No problem, no problem.
Sir is facing power issue. Sir will join 2 minutes.
ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್.
So friends, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು 2-3 questions ಇತ್ತು, that I will take up.
Okay, sir, better.
There is one question from Parvatagowda and Chetty, Hubli. It is said that Cooperative Societies Act prescribes mixed system of accounting for all cooperative societies. That is to say, all income should be recognized on cash basis and expenditure should be accounted on mercantile basis. Do you agree? Sir, this is not like that. Section 22, it prescribes mode of computing the profit for the purpose of distribution of dividend, not the accounting system. Accounting system, it will not be in hindrance. You go on having the accrual system for both receivables and payables. All incomes and expenditures you can have. If it comes under tax audit purview, better you have accrual system only. But when it comes to the question of calculation of the profit amount for the purpose of distribution of dividend, you are not supposed to consider the accumulated or the interest receivable. You can see the logic also. Suppose hypothetically I will take a case wherein cooperative societies, without taking the receivables, its profit is 10 lakhs. It has accounted the receivable interest and it has declared 1 crore of profit. That means 90 lakhs of profit is boosted because of taking the interest income on accrual basis. Suppose if you are to declare dividend, and suppose out of 1 crore, you create the reserve for reserves and all that 40 lakhs. Rest of the things you use for dividend declaration and payment of dividend. As a chartered accountant, you can just very well appraise. It is payment out of capital. It is not payment of revenue. Just to restrict. It is not a payment out of revenue, earnings. Just to restrict those cooperative societies which tend to, that too in the year of election, they do these things. So restrict those things by hampering the economic conditions of the cooperative societies. There is Rule 22 prescribes, in case you want to declare dividend, you are not supposed to take up the interest receivable portion. That's very well logically correct, and I do agree with that. So what we chartered accountant can do, as per the books of accounts, we can finalize the books of accounts, including the accrual system only, including the revenues and all that. When it comes to the profit declaration, we can give them the computation, just like we could give separate computation for income tax purpose. We can give the computation excluding the interest portion that is not received, so that they will know their real position.
Okay, thank you.
That's the thing. Okay, so that's my answer. So Suresh Rao is very much there. It is audible, sir. You are there.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. So there is some differences, and almost time has come up. So I requested Divya to conclude this session. We had a wonderful session with Suresh Rao. Definitely, sir, we enjoyed this session like anything. I was actually, of course, I have heard many of your sessions, and each of your session definitely will be added value addition to majority of our senior chartered accountants. Even Bolmal sir, he was telling, of course, he has got very good rapport with you. He was telling, if Suresh Rao is there, you can learn anything and everything in cooperative audit. Definitely, he is a ocean, and he is definitely value. He will make a value addition. And definitely, your total session today, it was very useful, and all our chartered accountants, they will agree, and I know they agree, because I have learned a lot of things from you, and the way in which you speak, and the way in which you convince this, why this is so. Logically, you will be convincing us. So hats off to you. Personally, I thank you very much. And on behalf of CA community also, I thank you. And Divya is there to propose the vote of thanks for on behalf of Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
Over to Divya.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I take this opportunity on behalf of Bangalore branch of SIRC of ICI to propose a formal vote of thanks for today's half day program. Especially thanks a lot to our chief guest of today's program, Shri B Suresh Rao sir, for sparing his valuable time and sharing an excellent presentation, and also some of the very finest updates, recent updates. Really, thank you so much, sir, on behalf of the managing committee and all the participants of Bangalore branch. It was really excellent, and we would like to hear more from you. You are a knowledge treasure on this particular subject, and we would love to organize one more session with your presence, maybe sometime later. Thanks a lot for once again on behalf of entire Bangalore branch.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I also take this opportunity to thank you all guys, Mr. Raveendranath and Mr. Shetty, and also SIRC, Bangalore chapter and ICAI. And I'll be looking forward to meeting you all guys. And this is a wonderful opportunity for me also to learn from you guys. And let us have a symbiotic relation in the days to come also. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. It's our pleasure to host the next event along with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Very much.
Members, before we take a break, I would like to thank our Raveendranath sir also. Thank you so much, sir, for your very excellent presentation, and very lively you made it by addressing all the questions, and also it was really a fantastic session we had with you. Thank you so much on behalf of entire Bangalore branch managing committee, and also on behalf of entire participants. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Members, before we take a break, I would like to inform you, we'll take a lunch break, and 2 o'clock we'll come back. We have 2 sessions. First session is in the topic provisions of GST in relation to cooperative societies. CATR Rajesh Kumar will be handling this session. And 3:30 to 5, we have session on the topic practical case studies in income tax with reference to cooperative societies or cooperative banks. CA Sandeep C will be presenting on this topic. I request all of you to kindly come back. Thank you so much. We shall connect back by 2 o'clock.